Cloudcast Media.
Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show, amplifying the voices of social impact organizations, entrepreneurs, local nonprofits, and other community champions who shape the culture, creativity, and connectivity of San Diego. Brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union, bringing good things to San Diego for over 60 years. Learn more about what is good for you and good for all by visiting www.missionfed.com.
I'm Drew Schlosberg of Cloudcast Media, and it is a good day when our friends from SACRA, PROFANA, are in a studio. Juan Carlos Acosta, he is the artistic director. How you doing, Juan?
I'm doing great.
It's always good to have you in over here, and brought in a really cool cat, William B.J. Robinson, Director of Music and Art for Christ United Presbyterian Church. How you doing, B.J.?
Feeling good. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So we'll start with you. You know, Juan Carlos, talk about the mission of the organization and all the cool things you're doing, and then we'll see why BJ is with you right next.
Yeah, absolutely. So, as your listeners know, SACRA PROFANA is a choral organization that has a passion for contemporary choral music and a deep commitment to education, outreach, and engagement in the cause of social justice. And that's kind of part of what brings us to Christ United Presbyterian Church and some of my work with BJ over the years.
Right. And so SACRA PROFANA has been around for 2009, right? Is that right?
That's correct,
yeah. And you since 2015?
That's right.
Very, very good. BJ, how long have you been working with the Christ United Presbyterian Church?
So I started at Christ United back in December of 2020 of all times. And so it's been about 4.5 years that I've...
You didn't want to go during an exciting time, is that correct?
I like to keep things simple, low-key, real chill.
Right, exactly. What got you into the world of art and music?
Oh, boy.
As a little kid, you were interested in it?
Since the beginning, there's home videos of me waving my arms around while orchestra music's playing. And I think there's even one instance that my dad changes it to talk radio and I start screaming and it goes right back to orchestra and suddenly I'm happy and waving my hands again. So music's always been the thing.
Yeah, no offense to talk radio though,
Oh, still love it. Grew up with Imus in the morning and all that good stuff. So.
No offense taken at all. In that vein. Did your family was it involved in music and art as well?
I certainly was exposed to a lot of music and art along with my dad, especially did a lot of singing growing up in church with him. My siblings and I all did sports to start with, but we all found our ways to playing instruments, singing, dancing, doing theater. Very, very, very cool. Juan Carlos, talk about this cool concert coming up.
Yeah, I'm really excited. So on May 25th at 4 p.m., we're going to be led by my good friend and choral brother here, Brandon Waddles. Brandon is a scholar in African American music. He is one of the editors of the African American Church Music Series. And so we're going to be doing a bunch of his pieces, arrangements that he's been doing, and then some of the musical theater stuff that he's been involved in and things like that. He's currently the associate conductor of the national tour of The Wiz. So that's making their rounds and with sellout audiences. And he's taking a break from that to come and lead us.
And at what time is it going to be?
4 p.m.
4 p.m. And how do you get tickets?
Yeah, you can go to sacraprofana.org to get tickets.
Right, exactly. So, BJ, talk a little bit about, something that near and dear to your heart, Black music, Black, history, and everything Black in San Diego.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Not just to my heart, but at the heart of Christ United Presbyterian Church. It's one of the oldest Black Presbyterian church congregations in the country. And one of our aims as we are still sort of finding our new footing in this post-COVID world is reinvigorating our ongoing arts series. That's a part of our commitment to the community and our practice. And that ranges from bringing in different community organizations to having our own regular events that we host. And we were fortunate enough to have SACRA PROFANA last year. It would kind of dial back to almost 10 years ago of Juan and I first meeting being, arts educators here in San Diego and knowing, at some point we want to collaborate and do some things together. And that manifested in writing a summer camp musical in 2020, again, of all years. And then eventually has become, hey, let's get ourselves together with our different groups and put on some concerts. And so we had SACRA PROFANA last year, and it's really exciting to get to have them back. Before that concert was over, our congregation members were asking, when are they coming back?
No, that's great. And how much of that is a learning experience for your congregation on, some of the history of Black music, and maybe especially in San Diego?
It's actually, I think, more of a celebration for our congregation in particular to connect with other organizations that are doing that celebrating and are helping to bring that history back into people's heads in a time when history is a little fuzzy for some. And SACRA PROFANA was able to do that last February during Black History Month with a really beautiful presentation. There's a stunning moment from the concert last year where, as they sang Lift Every Voice and Sing, often known as the Black National Anthem, everyone in the church was immediately at their feet.
Wow.
And it felt like a timeless moment for a lot of our members who are a lot of the pivotal, fundamental Black citizens of San Diego, from school board to facilitating things in a children's hospital. That we have a lot of individuals who have been pillars of the Black culture and community in San Diego. And so getting to partner with a group like SACRA PROFANA that's helping to bring more light to that rich history and that cultural celebration, it's invaluable.
As Juan Carlos knows, because every time he's on, he's got to be bored by what I'm going to say in about 5 seconds, so he can tune out if he'd like. But, if Drew ran the world, especially in education, it would be through visual and performing arts at the schools, TK through probably 16, maybe even, who knows. Everything you need to know, you can learn through the visual performing arts, from history, math, science, physics, everything under chemistry could be under this. And heaven forbid you actually do it with an empathetic tone. I know, Juan Carlos, that is important to you and important to what you guys do.
Absolutely. One of the great opportunities that we have as choral performers is to tell stories and to connect with audiences. There's a lot of talk about social, cultural learning that happens in the classroom, and music is one of the fundamental ways in which you can do that. So,
well, it brings people together, and God knows we need to find the empathy gene, and wherever that went in some different solar system, bring it back to ours in that area. And get people to actually calm down a little bit and to understand we really only want the same thing. We want to be healthy, we want to be happy, we want our kids to be well-fed, and we all want to do these things. And I don't care how trite that sounds, it's so true. Talk about how important that is to you and your church as well, BJ.
Oh, absolutely. Part of the mission at Christ United Presbyterian Church is, as we say, celebrating and practicing faith-based generosity, compassion, and inclusive love to help heal this world and make it a better place. And that, speaks to how we approach outreach and community connection. We do a lot of work with San Diego Rescue Mission to make sure that we're doing our part to support those who are experiencing houselessness. We also partner with New Day Urban Ministries, and that kind of helps us to build out a little bit more support on a bigger level. And then a part of our immediate local outreach is, again, the ongoing arts events that we have, including a regular monthly free gospel jazz concert every first Saturday of the month. And so that'll be happening this month, next month, every month. And we also have a food pantry that we maintain right on the corner of 30th and Fur in South Park. It is unmonitored, 24/7 accessible to take what you need, leave what you can on whatever that may be. And it's just an important practice to make sure that you're finding your ways to keep giving back. And that goes beyond Christ United. I think that speaks to the heart of San Diego and just the heart of humanity even. It's a part of certainly what SACRA PROFANA has been doing. It's a part of what I think Juan and I both have had in our own pedagogy practices as well. So it's great when you find these moments to bring it all together, to bring Brandon Waddles to San Diego. back to San Diego, I should say. I was there for opening night of the Wiz at the Civic, and it was fantastic. And even on a time like celebrating Memorial Day weekend, where we already have many other things that we're reflecting on and coming together on. So why not do that on Sunday the 25th, 4 p.m. at Christ United for the Sliding Glass Doors concert?
Yeah, and so how do they find out about it? What's your website?
We're at christunited.org, and so you can find information on there that will link you back to sacraprofana.org.
Yeah, very good. We're chatting with B.J. Robinson, Director of Music and Art for the Christ United Presbyterian Church, joined by his friend, colleague, my friend now, and colleague, soon to be probably host of the Spotlight Show. He does not know this yet. Juan Carlos Acosta, artistic director for SACRA PROFANA. I'm Drew Schlosberg. You're listening to another edition of Drew Schlosberg's Spotlight on the Community Show. We are the nation's longest running community podcast. We're now in our 19th year, brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union. 6 decades of doing great things in San Diego County, whether it's food insecurity, whether it's art walk, whether it's financial literacy. They've been doing wonderful work. Talk a little bit more about Brian Waddles, Juan.
Yeah, so Brandon is a dear friend. You know, my kids call him Uncle Brandon at this point. Yeah. I first encountered Brandon as a singer in the Westminster Choir College choir, and he was on tour. I saw them in Dallas, and on the program there was a piece arranged by Brandon Waddles, and I saw, this is a piece arranged by one of the students in the choir, can't be that good. And then I saw the birth date, and I was like, well, he's younger than me, can't be that good. And then they launched into it. I was, one of those goosebump moments where it was just transformative. The whole audience erupted to their feet as soon as they were done. And I thought to myself, I got to keep tabs on this guy. Fast forward to the next summer, and I was doing a conducting institute at Westminster Choir College when it was in Princeton, New Jersey. And he was there on faculty as an accompanist, and I got to work with him directly, and we've hit it off ever since. Lifelong friend at this point. And this is probably the 4th time I think I've had him in town to do something with us.
And where's he housed? Where's he?
Well, he's based in Detroit, but right now he's on a national tour with the Wiz.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. And did it come from Broadway, or did it come from...
Yeah, exactly. So they just wrapped up a Broadway, their Broadway run, and now they're taking it on tour.
Yeah. Where did it originate on Broadway? Originate in some small theater?
That's a good... I believe that it was the movie that got everything started with The Wiz. And Quincy Jones was the original composer, Michael Jackson, Diana Ross. So, just an iconic, moment in film and musical theater history. And then it did, I think, eventually... I believe it started with the movie, but I could be mistaken. And then for sure it did end up on Broadway. And then it was revived a few years ago, did a Broadway run, and now it's on tour. And I think... folks have an appetite for anything Wizard of Oz related right now, and so it's just it's been fantastic.
No, I think you're absolutely right on this. BJ, you had mentioned your work with the San Diego Rescue Mission, and Donnie D I think he's still the CEO there. He's an unbelievable guy in that aspect of it. Earlier on our Spotlight shows, we had Jeffrey Sitkoff on. I'm not sure if you know Jeffrey at all. So he, for 24 years, has been working. His company's called Doors of Change, and working with homeless teens. And they've found housing for like 2,900 of them over the years. But he works with the likes of Elton John and Billy Joel, gets them to sign keyboards and all that business, and auctions them off. He's raised almost $1 million in that aspect of it. Somewhere down the road, maybe you guys should have some type of a partnership, because it does work with the teens and homelessness as well. And he would love to see what you folks are doing as well. Now, talk a little bit about the summer series that you have coming up.
Yeah, so this summer we've got a summer choral intensive, which is our week-long summer camp for middle and high school students. We've got a number of alumni who now serve as volunteer interns. And then we have, this year we're taking it to the campus of San Diego State University, which is my alma mater. And we're really excited to bring it to that campus. I'm again working with my colleague from Point Loma Nazarene, Point Loma Nazarene University, Keith Peterson. And so it's just going to be a great time where we get to have our young singers sing alongside the professional singers of SACRA PROFANA, and then do a culminating concert.
Yeah, when we come back from break, I want to talk about some of the challenges we have moving forward. I'm glad to see people are getting back to live. There's nothing like live. I'll just tell you guys, preaching in the congregation here as well. And how do we get people more engaged? I think one of the beauty of what you folks are doing, we need to shut out noise. There's a lot of noise that we don't need to hear. I mean, we need to hear some noise, but not all of this. So maybe you can talk about that as well. And as Juan Carlos knows, BJ, we always save time at the second half. What can our listeners do? Obviously, go to the concerts, contribute, go to the food pantries and all that business. So give some thought to that when we return with Juan Carlos Acosta. He's the artistic director of SACRA PROFANA, joined by his colleague, BJ Robinson, director of music and art, talking about the big shindig concert they have coming up on Sunday, May the 25th at the Christ United Presbyterian Church. That's on 1st Street. I'm Drew Schlosberg, and we will be right back after these few messages.
When you do your banking with Mission Fed, you get great rates on auto and home loans. That's good for you, but something good also happens for a lot of other people. We're not for profit, so we put money back into the community to help lots of great nonprofits to keep San Diego strong. So you're not just getting something good, you're doing something good. Come to Mission Fed. It's banking that's good for all.
Brand amplification is the DNA of Cloudcast Media, and our code is the powerful blending of sound, voice, and storytelling to lift local brands and their communities. Whether it is our Brandcast, Schoolcast, or Causecast platforms, the unifying ethos is all about this community, the one you call home. If you dare to dream and want to explore the brand amplification of Cloudcast, a national leader in local podcasting and other Winfluence strategies, please visit us at cloudcast.us.
I'm Drew Schlosberg of Cloudcast Media. You're listening to another edition of Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show. We are the nation's longest running community podcast, now in our 19th year, brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union, 60 plus years of doing great things in San Diego County, back making another return appearance. We're just so thrilled. He'll give us some more time on our Spotlight show as Juan Carlos Acosta, artistic director for SACRA PROFANA, joined by his colleague, BJ Robinson, director of music and art for Christ United Presbyterian Church. We'll start with you on this, BJ, and then Juan Carlos, you can add to it. Was it a challenge to get people coming back to live performances after COVID? And is it still a challenge?
Yes and no. One of the things that I think we're all experiencing post-COVID was just that hunger for in-person. But there were a lot of questions on how did that actually look for us when we tried to put it into practice. And I think that has been where we've tried to find what is it about the live experience that people are particularly looking for and wanting to come to? You've got tons of people who are flocking to the Beyonce, Cowboy Carter tour. And let me tell you, if I had the time and the money to spare, I'd probably be there right now as well with my Spurs on. At that same time, that itself presents a lot of the challenges. Having the right timing to be able to attend a concert, having the availability, not just within your own schedule, but in coordinating it with other people's schedules. And that's something we've been really trying to work through at Christ United. One of those adjustments has been moving to afternoon concerts instead of Friday night, Saturday night traditional concerts. Why not have a show that starts at 2, 3, or 4? It can be done before dinner time. You can have your concert, have your meal, be home before the sun is down. And so that has been one of the adjustments we found to be a good thing for us.
Yeah, I tell you something, that's like taking a little page out of Homestart. They put on a Halloween event every year, but they start at 3 and you're done at 6. And so you can do stuff in the morning. You can have your little pop or two and raise some good money for Homestart, and then you're home to do whatever. I think that is absolutely spot on. How about you, Juan Carlos?
Yeah, I think that really connects, because one of the things that we found when we had to shut everything down is that we really valued that time at home, and we valued not being as busy as we used to be. And so I think adjusting to people's schedules, getting people in some ways back in the habit of attending live things. But I think that's, a big part of it, And I was having a conversation with a colleague just a couple of weeks ago, and they're active both in live performances and in Hollywood type stuff. And they were talking about, that the importance of being in person, live, in community with others is now more important than ever because of the divisive world we live in. But also, in an age where AI entertainment is really emerging, the importance of real human performers and contact is so important. So that's one of the things we're kind of looking forward at.
So how do you work with the younger kids? Obviously, I'm 12,000 years older than both of you, so we'll just get that on the table right now. I didn't grow up with electronics like my 30-year-old daughter does. She's a teacher at Chaparral Elementary in the Poway School District, but that's what she was born with, the cell phone and all that. And of course, she's 30. Forget the ones that are coming now that are going to be born out of one day they're going to have the first AI birth. I know that's going to happen. That's going to happen. My prediction, you heard it here on the Spotlight Show. And God knows that should probably get me arrested even saying that, for God's sake. I'm teasing a little bit, but my sense is everything that's going in there.
Yeah.
So a little bit of a turn here. How are you? I'll start with you on this one, Carlos, and then pivot over to you, BJ. How are you addressing AI, especially in the world you live in?
Yeah, it is an odd world we live in. Students have these pre-recorded versions of the world that are heavily edited and filtered that they see. So on one hand, they see this level of perfection that is literally unattainable in real life.
Right.
But then on the other hand, they have, things like YouTube tutorials that will show them how to do everything. Right. And so in some ways, we can now fix the cars that we couldn't fix 10 years ago because we have a YouTube tutorial on how to do that. So it's this odd balance. I think, just providing the students a place for them to explore and find themselves without that pressure of perfection and that they're going to have to post it or something like that. I think that's one of the most important things we can do.
Yeah, and I think, BJ, in the world that both of you folks are on, curiosity is the name of the game. The beauty of art and of music and composing and acting and all that. And we just don't want students or anybody for that matter, any age, give up that curiosity.
Oh, absolutely. And there's something really exciting that is happening with the curiosity that's leading to a sort of rediscovery process, especially with younger generations. I mean, I can recall even from teaching 10, 15 years ago when I had students who were really into Glee, the TV show.
Right.
And that was certainly building up a sort of false sense on how you could sound with kids attempting to sound just like they did on Glee, and even that sort of auto-tune rise, did that experience. What I find, especially now, and especially through churches and through organizations like SACRA, PROFANA, is this rediscovery on the fundamentals on how you can make music, how you can express things artistically, how you can even channel cultural or political ideas into an artistic literary context and share that, like you said, in a platform that doesn't have to be about perfection. It doesn't have to be about profit. It can really be about finding yourself, connecting back into that authentic, humane experience. And that's certainly something that I think churches are getting to explore and offer again. And SACRA PROFANA has been doing that with every purposeful concert the last, I don't know, at least 3-4 years.
Yeah, to tag on to that, one of the things I tell the students is that when I was in high school, I was into rock music and I was in all sorts of other stuff. Singing in choir wasn't really a native language for me, but it gave me a way to explore a voice and a perspective that was different from mine. That as a 17-year-old boy, I would have never dared to sing those words on my own, but to experience them in a choral situation gave me just a whole different perspective. So
I always try to tell students to go back and watch Sister Act 2, which most of them haven't ever seen, heard of. Whoopi Goldberg was an actor. And it's such a great example, both of them, but especially even in that second one, because it's with students on that process of being in a place that's safe enough to find your voice, to figure out what you can offer. And it doesn't have to be about the perfection, and yet you can still find those levels of success.
Well, we all know that you probably learn more when you fail, when you skin your knee in that aspect of it. I don't think I want to do that again, or how do I figure this out? And that is half of the battle of, which is good about curiosity. It's the beauty of art and music and so forth. Don't stop learning, don't stop being curious. And one of the things we talked about right before break, and I'll start with you on this, BJ, and then you can add to it if you can, Juan Carlos. I think one of the things that you folks do, we hear this a lot in the world of education. I do a lot of work with the Classroom of the Future Foundation and work with the county superintendent, and a bunch of superintendents are on our board, is, listen, we need to focus on those kids. And if we let the noise in D.C. get in the way of what we're doing, we're failing the kids, right? Probably the same thing, BJ, with you folks on this aspect. We got to be true to the mission. We got to pay attention maybe to what's going on a little bit. But here's where our real work needs to be done. Talk about that.
Oh, sure. It's easy to feel lost and confused in all of the noise.
Right.
But you try to filter through it. And, musicians are always working on that idea of just honing in on what part you need to listen to in whatever the full soundscape is that surrounds you. And that's a part of what we do try to focus on with our art series, with partnering with the community, with having our food pantry, with connecting to the rescue mission. One of our other operations at Christ United, we have a charter school that is on our campus as well, the McGill School of Success, which is a great chance for us to be reminded and constantly reflecting on what are we doing for the kids? What are we doing to make sure that they're safe, that they've got security, that they've got opportunities? We also work with a troop of the Scouts of America that come and meet at our church as well. It's easy to get lost in all of the noise, but by staying connected and really having those clear focuses on where you can partner up and contribute to, it helps us to kind of keep our footing. It's a part of why we try to keep our partnerships going in the arts events, in the community with SACRA PROFANA. It helps us all to kind of stay on point. And that's, again, a really exciting aim that with this concert in particular, we will get to show more of that reflection and celebration of Black culture, of Black music and Black history. And that's something unique that we get to offer at Christ United, being in the heart of South Park. It is not a predominantly Black neighborhood.
Right.
And yet we're able to bring some really special, authentic Black culture to the community that allows us all to learn, allows us all to celebrate and kind of just keep building on that humanity.
Yeah, and then Juan Carlos with Brandon Waddles. I mean, what an opportunity.
Yeah. He's just, literally a world-class musician and scholar, in this topic. He literally has a PhD in Detroit gospel music. And so to bring him here and even for our singers, especially for our singers, to get to experience this, the performance practice, the authenticity that he brings, because obviously this is music that originated in Black culture, but it is one of America's greatest accomplishments. Mm-hmm. And so it deserves to be celebrated. And this is our music, and we need to know it. We need to be fluent in it. So it's very exciting. Yeah,
there's no question about it. Shout out the May 25th concert.
Yeah, we're so looking forward to this concert at Christ United Church at May 25th at 4 p.m.
Right, exactly. And get tickets through where?
SACRAPROFANA.org.
Very good. And then, BJ, shout out your website again. You got the food pantry. You've got other concerts coming on. You got monthly things. What's that website?
You can follow and find out everything happening with us at ChristUnited.org.
Well, listen, absolute joy having you on. This won't be the last time you'll come on, unless you do choose not to come back on, BJ.
I hope to be back.
You will be back. I will guarantee it. Juan Carlos, always a pleasure having you on. It's great content you provide. alongside our listeners, and just your spirit is so good. And we're going to look forward to your next appearance on a Spotlight show somewhere down the road.
Thank you, Drew. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. Juan Carlos Acosta. He is the artistic director for SACRA PROFANA, joined by his colleague, B.J. Robinson, director of music and art for Christ United Presbyterian Church. I'm Drew Schlosberg, Cloudcast Media. You've been listening to another edition of Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show, the nation's longest running community podcast, now in our 19th year, brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union. 6 decades of doing great things in San Diego County, and we hope you enjoyed the interview.
You've been listening to an episode of Drew Schlosberg's Spotlight on the Community Show, amplifying the voices of social impact organizations, entrepreneurs, local nonprofits, and other community champions who shape the culture, creativity, and connectivity of San Diego community. Brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union, bringing good things to San Diego for over 60 years. Learn more about what is good for you and good for all by visiting www.missionfed.com.
Cloudcast Media.